Let's talk about a strategy that beats inflation and is beginner friendly. In this video, I want to just walk you through the general framework of this strategy and then allow you to take it and run with it and fine tune it to whatever your particular goals are and whatever your personal risk tolerance is. But as you can see here from the article, and I'm not going to read the article entirely, it does walk you through some math and the numbers of how all this works. And, historically speaking, and I should say historically speaking, because of course there are no guarantees in the future, but historically speaking, why there is a lot of data behind this. But again, I trust that you can read and, look through that. So I will put a link to this article down below the video here. But what I wanted to mainly talk about was just kind of the general idea behind maybe why you've never heard of this or very little of this. But as the article, and you probably already read the title, you need to pay more attention to dividends. This math shows why they beat inflation. And just to set up the context here, one of the best bear market protection strategies is hidden in plain sight: dividend paying stocks. And I appreciate, and even though there's a little irony here since this article is kind of media, quote unquote, but they do acknowledge why it's sort of a problem in the sense of many beginners, many people that are just getting started in the stock market and investing have never really maybe heard of anything like this, as they go on to admit the financial media doesn't help matters much since dividends typically don't change very much from quarter to quarter and are therefore considered boring. So I applaud you, financial media. I applaud you for admitting that you don't talk about a strategy that's, historically speaking, is able to beat a lot of other things because, yeah, it is a pretty boring strategy. But that's just human nature, right? People want to talk about the things that are exciting, not the stuff that is boring. But oftentimes, which is the case, the boring stuff is actually what works. So we are after dividend stocks. Dividend, very quickly, depending on how much of a beginner you are, is going to be a company that pays you for simply investing into their stock. I always say it's like a thank you card. If you're willing to hold onto their stock and invest into it over the long term, they will say, hey, thank you. And within this thank you card, now they don't actually send you a thank you card, but metaphorically speaking, it's like they send you a thank you card, and in this thank you card, there's cash that's saying, hey, thanks for holding our stock. So that's what a dividend is. You are actually getting paid to hold onto a stock and to be an investor in it. Okay, with that brings up the next question. Where do we find these dividend-paying stocks that, per the article here, historically, speaking, is able to beat inflation? So what you're going to need is a screener or a scanner. They're basically one and the same. And in this example, I'm going to use Webull, and I will put a link down below if you want to get signed up with them, and if you like kind of just how straightforward it is. Full disclosure sake, that is an affiliate link, so if you decide to sign up with them, then I'll also get something. But if you do sign up with them, they're always running promotions, and right now I think they're giving away 5 free stocks, which is kind of crazy to think that if you just deposit money, then you're going to get 5 free stocks. But like I said, I am using Webull because I know I'm going to get that asked in the comment section, so I'll just be proactive against it. But if you do like them and you want to use them and get those free stocks, and again, use that link down below the video in the description box. So what you're going to want to do, I'm just assuming that you're using Webull, but if you are, or if you're not, you're just going to want some sort of screener that does something. And again, very beginner friendly, nothing fancy at all. So in Webull, you just want to click right there to add widgets. You want to come over here to general, and then right there you have screener, and then you're going to want to add that in. So once you have your screener brought up, we're going to need to be searching for a very specific thing. And maybe you're thinking, I bet we're going to be searching for dividend stocks. Hey, great job. So right here, click on filter, and then you're going to want to drop down here to dividends. And what that's going to allow for is us to now choose, well, what sort of dividend stocks do you want? Because dividends, when you do the math, they come out as a percentage. But the cool thing here is it's not an interest rate that you pay out for like a car loan or a mortgage or credit card payment. Those are the interest rates where you owe money. But no, in this situation, these interest rates are what the company is going to be paying to you. So it's kind of weird when you first hear it, but yeah, these are really cool interest rates because this is what's being paid to you. So that's what we're coming down here and trying to scan out is, okay, well, what sort of dividend yield, what sort of, that's the technical term, dividend yield, but what sort of interest rate are you going to want to be paid to you? And it gives you a chance to choose between, well, what sort of range do you want? Now, I know the temptation, I was there when I was a beginner, is, well, let's crank that thing up to some sort of super high percentage over here. Now, if you were thinking that, again, I don't blame you. In fact, hey, good job. You're thinking, okay, well, let's maximize it. And I'm not saying that that's wrong, but I am saying probably watch this video. I'll link it down below, because those, those yields, those interest rates, quote unquote, they rise up super high for particular reasons, and these reasons you certainly need to understand and factor into your analysis, which again will be your analysis, because this will be something that you fine-tune to your personal risk tolerance. But like I said, don't just automatically go crank up that number to the highest interest rates, the highest yields, and then think that you're somehow making the system completely work for you. Certainly watch this video first before you go down that pathway, and that way you're gonna have a better understanding in regard to that kind of part of your strategy. But for the sake of this, let's just say we want stocks that pay at least 3 and, no more than, let's just say 7.5. And I'm completely just making these numbers up. Actually, no, that's not necessarily true. The 3, that's kind of my bear line is, I want at least 3%. But, depending on the circumstances, that I'm willing to be flexible in that regard. But bare bottom, 3 is probably the one I'd want. And then 7.5, we'll just say, and I'm completely just making up the 7.5. But you can see just like that, this screener has gone and found all the stocks that meet this criteria. Now up here, I'm also doing things with market cap. So I can say, well, no, I'm going to, I want little smaller companies. And you'll notice that number just changed to 50. And I'll, just adjust this up to, even bigger companies. So now you can see that this number changed to 94. So, like I said, you can go down the rabbit hole so many different directions. Maybe you only want huge companies. Maybe you want smaller companies. Maybe you want in between. But that can all be controlled with the, the scanner. And again, filter. Then you can go through here, and there's a bunch of different variables. Well, like I said, I'm not trying to overwhelm you, especially if you're a beginner. At the end of the day, in fact, let's just take out market cap. The end of the, you just want, to focus strictly on the dividends, then there you go. Pick out the sort of yields that you would want, and then you can just start to go through them. And, the other thing that I would say is, to make this a little easier, you can go over here and, adjust columns. So because we care about the dividend yield, let's just move this column right there. And now you can easily just go right down it. So you can scroll down here and see the various dividends, and that fast. And, they have the name of the companies there. So, where did who hasn't heard of Allstate, right? Their commercials. I can't think of the guy's name in my head right now, but so, just go through, and if you see a company that you recognize, there we go. So I think a lot of people have heard of Best Buy. Whoops, grabbed the wrong annotation tool there, but you get the idea. And that's how you get started with all this. Is you find those dividend stocks. And why do we care about dividends? Well, it goes back to the beginning of the video. And if you read through that article, there's some interesting graphs and such in there that just illustrate that when inflation is going on and occurring, dividend stocks are a great tool, are a great strategy to fight, and then ultimately, and hopefully, historically speaking at least, beat that inflation. So if you have any questions or anything on this, please let me know down in the comment section. If you would like more videos like this that talk about kind of combining real world news events and then the practical side of things, such as showing you how to scan for these certain type of stocks, then again, leave those down in the comment section too. Or if you just have ideas for other videos like this, I am very active with my community here on YouTube. So if you do leave a comment, I will read it and reply. So I look forward to any sort of feedback that you have to give, or just in general, hit that like button and leave a simple comment, even if it's just saying hi. Those two things help out with the channel as a whole, and I really appreciate it. And I'd also encourage you to go check out other videos. And if you like what you see at that point, then yes, I would love to have you as a subscriber to the channel. But yeah, get out there, find yourself a screener. If you want to use Webull, again, that link is down below. Start finding yourself some dividend-paying stocks. First off, thanks so much for watching the entire video. Real quick, before you go, I want to invite you to a live webinar, web class, training, workshop, online event, whatever you want to call it, but it will be me live revealing to you what I've discovered that has allowed me to transform myself from being an employee to being my own boss, including how I had only one losing day out of 73 days in total. I'm going to cover 3 keys that have helped me unlock profitable consistency within the markets. The first key is super weird, but in a productive type of way. The second key is super awesome because it quite literally is wired into our DNA as humans, making it very easy to use. But in a cruel way, this becomes a pitfall for many traders. I'll explain it all though, including how to avoid the pitfall that it creates for some. And yeah, the third key, when you hear it, sounds way too good to be true, but it's not, and I'll show you how it all works. Then at the end, I open it up for a question and answer session that is, again, totally live. Even if you can't make the live session, please still sign up as it will be recorded, and you can go back and watch the replay that I will send you. Click the image on the screen or click the link down in the description box so you can get the date and time and claim your spot, which I should note is limited due to the fact that this truly is a live event. If you have any questions, let me know. If not, I'll be seeing you soon.